Greetings everyone, and this is Connor from DagoraC TV, and in this video we're asking, will The Elder Scrolls 6 be set on another continent from Tamriel? Okay, so this is another speculation video on The Elder Scrolls 6, and if you want to check out any of the other ones that I've done so far, then please make sure to check out the playlist that I've got, and the annotation for that is on the screen right now. The reason I'm actually making this video is because a lot of people have been asking for one to see the possibility of it being set in another continent, of what could be happened in another continent, what the other continents are like from Tamriel and things like that. Okay, so as we know so far, Tamriel has not been fully explored. We've explored Cyrodiil, Skyrim, Morrowind, and that's pretty much been it. So there's still a lot of the provinces that's not been known. So let's go through it one by one. So we'll go to Yakuda, which is set to the west of Tamriel, which is originally where the Red Guards came from. And not much is known of Yakunda since it was kind of drowned in an unknown event, but it was a massive continent to the west of Tamriel in the second era, and then there was the sinking of it, and a lot of Red Guards come over and took refuge in Hammerfell. It's known to be their original home, and it could definitely be used as, a ring of islands. I'd love it to be there and have, a naval system, a ship system, kind of like how Assassin's Creed 4 had it. And it could be including it as a part of a DLC, because compared to the other continents, it's not that big. And the Red Guards did render it uninhabitable. So if they're going to have it there, a lot is going to have to change. Another event is going to have to happen to make it in a much better location and much better for us to go there. Because if we can't go there because it's uninhabitable, then it's not going to make a good game. To kind of have a look around and see it. Maybe it's been inhabited by a lot of different, races or diseases that we can't go there. But the Red Guards have said we can't go there. Okay, the next one is Atmora. Atmora is a barren, freezing wasteland which is to the north of Tamriel. This is originally where the Nords came from, and it is extremely cold there. And that caused the water called the Sea of Ghost to be between of Tamriel and between Atmora to become icy. This is, like I said, where the Nords came from, where Ysgramor led the men from. And not many trips back there have been made by the Nords. And to be honest, the Nords seem like people that can endure the cold, can endure the pain. And if they had to leave Atmora, it had to be pretty bad. And that is one of the main reasons why I don't want to go there. The main reason being because we've seen enough snow in Skyrim. I would like there to be something different. And I don't think we're going to be able to get that from Atmora, because the freezing wasteland, to be fair, Skyrim was described as a freezing wasteland in the books that we got in Cyrodiil and Morrowind. And look how beautiful that land turned out to be. So we could definitely get some more of that, but I don't think we're going to have as much of a range in the weather that we did in Skyrim. I know there wasn't much, but the further south you go, the less snow you get. We're not going to have that in Atmora. All of it's going to be icy, all of it's going to be snow. Maybe we could see an area of that in, I don't know, in a DLC or something, or an expansion, but overall I'm not, losing my mind thinking that we cannot go to Atmora. Okay, the next one is the big one, Akavir. Next to nothing is really known about the geography of Akavir. All we know is that it has its own race, the Tangmo, the Kamal, the Kapotun, and I think it is the Tiskei, which are, the Tangmo are kind of like a monkey-like people. They're very, very different, different kind of race. These are the monkey people, the inhabitants there are called the Thousand Monkey Isle. And, there's a lot of, monkey-like people, very different. Definitely could be a different new playable race, which will be a lot of fun. And, it's something that's kind of new to the franchise that we're always kind of looking for. And, we've also got as well the Kamal, which is the land of the snow demons. And this is also translated to snow hell in the Akaviri tongue. And the snow demons are known to thaw out once every year to proceed attacks against the other nations of Akavir. However, most of their attacks are actually directed against the Tangmo. There's definitely a lot that could be set in Akavir. Akavir also has the Kapotun, which I've already mentioned, and the Kapotun are also a different kind of playable race, and these are kind of like tiger-like catfolk. So there could definitely be, similar, to what we have with the Khajiit, and there could definitely be fighting amongst there, or maybe a friendship amongst them in elsewhere to kind of get along a lot better. And that would be, definitely interesting to kind of go through. And we also have the Tsaski, I'm not really sure how to say it, to be honest with you, Tsaesci, which are kind of like vampiric people. So we're having very different people than what we've seen as the bulk on Tamriel. Because on Tamriel, we have the 10 races, we've got some of them are different. We don't have monkey people, for instance. We don't have snow demons. I would love to see them. These could be new playable races if I was going to set it over there. We could, and the Carpo tongue and everything, which is kind of like a tiger's catfolk, and the vampiric people, they're kind of like vampiric serpents, so maybe like similar to Argonians. And they have serpent kings over there. They have a lot that goes on. And new playable race has been something that has been asked by quite a few of the Elder Scrolls fans, and it's not something that I'd definitely not be against. I would love to see a new playable race. And the blades are actually originally from Akavir, and the blades are which we see a lot of in Cyrodiil and in Skyrim. And there's definitely a lot of parallels between the two continents, and Akavir has attacked Tamriel a lot of the time, and in the next one, if we was going to set it over there, we could have Tamriel attacking Akavir, which would be, really cool to kind of explore and see, what the kind of parallels are and how different they are, the different cultures, which has always been so good in finding out in our Elder Scrolls games, and seeing it on a whole different continent will be fantastic. Okay, the next one is Piandonia. Piandonia is the island continent located to the far southwest of Tamriel and is home to the Marma. And the continent is full of dense rainforest, very similar to Valenwood. And the Marma, also known as the Tropical Elves, and these have actually been seen in the Elder Scrolls Online. They've got a very distinct look about them. They're kind of like dark elves, but with white eyes. And due to his population kind of being more elvish, there's a speculation that Piandonia could actually maybe a part of Tamriel in the future. Yes, it is to the far southwest, but with it being similar races to what we have on Tamriel, there's a speculation that could be there. I would be up for it searching Piandonia. I think it could be a good expansion, a good new land to go to if it was set in one of the Atmora Dominion provinces to kind of go there. I think it's not that big of a place to go compared to somewhere like Akavir or Atmora. I think that the fact that it's all dense rainforest as well is going to be a nice change from Skyrim. And, a new race there, Malmo, definitely could be a new playable race, and I think that would be a lot of fun to go explore, find new places. I think this one is the most likely that we'll see in the Elder Scrolls 6. The reason for that being because it could be expansion worthy, whereas with Akavir it's too big. I don't see that being used until we've tied up all the loose ends that we have in Tamriel at this moment in time. The next continent is Thras. Thras is also known about the Coral Kingdom, and I've had a few comments about the Coral Kingdom in the time of my videos. It has been a powerful and antagonizing power against the Somerset Isles since before recorded time. And the Slode may have one time been called the Somerset part of Thras. The Slode are actually another playable race which could be used. These are a slug-like race. There's been a few concepts of them looking very dark and gloomy, but this, is something kind of maybe a little bit Argonian-like, but not really scaly, more slug-like, more slimy, which would be kind of cool to see. And the Coral Kingdom is really been speculated as this kind of beautiful and yet powerful landscape. And I think that because it's partially been submerged and it's not that big, again, this could be expansion worthy. And they've got a big necromantic, mystery that's going on there. They're, big, necromantic power and everything like that. And they've actually laid siege a couple of times to the Somerset Isles. One time actually laying siege to Skywatch. And they've got a really tough rivalry with the High Elves, and this could be set something after the Elder Scrolls 6 once they've tied up the whole thing with the Thalmor and the Empire, or let's say the Thalmor win, for instance. They could then choose to invade and get revenge on the Thras, on the Coral Kingdom, and fighting the Slode, and maybe we could see on both sides. There's definitely a lot they could do there. Okay, and the final continent I'm going to be talking about in this video is Aldmeris. Little is actually known about Aldmeris, including the fact that it actually still exists. We don't know if it's still there. The Atmora claimed that the continent was the birthplace of both elves and mankind, which the elves being the oldest and therefore we say the wisest of the races, you know, we kind of take the word for it, they're the most intellectual. But we also kind of know that, you know, the elves being a very cultural people and that being their home, it would be a very fantasy-like area, very fantasy-like landscape, something much more mystical than what we've experienced so far in Tamriel, which would be really cool to find out. It's kind of hard for me to kind of talk a lot about Aldmeris because so little of it isn't actually known, but all we know is that in the history is that it was really the first place that kind of had a place that had a, you know, people on it, on Nern, way before Tamriel did anyway. And you know, we've always had references to it, to tapestries that are in the Crystal Tower and the Isle of Somerset and everything like that. There's a lot that goes on there, which would be really cool to see. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching this video, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. And please make sure you leave a like and leave a comment about what Elder Scrolls 6 videos I'd like to do in the future, and what the possibilities are of going over to a continent. I know a lot of people want Akavir. I'd love to go to Akavir eventually, but I really want the loose ends to be tied up in Tamriel before the Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter DagoraC, and if you really enjoy my content and want to go one step further, there's donation links in the description below. It's definitely not required. There's the PayPal and Patreon links there if you really want to be helpful. Once again, thanks a lot for watching the video, and goodbye.